How does Michael Jordan spend his billion-dollar fortune? If you're watching this, you obviously know a lot about Michael Jordan. Even people who aren't watching this video know about Jordan. He has a name and face that everyone recognizes immediately. Jordan is so popular, he took over the number 23, straight stole the rights to a number. Now, anyone who wears the number 23, we say they're wearing Jordan's number. That doesn't really happen with any other athlete. But more than we should be concerning ourselves with Jordan and his relationship with the number 23, we should be thinking of another number, 1.6 billion. That's his approximate net worth. Jordan is the richest former athlete in the world. Professional athletes are all loaded, and none of them come close to Jordan and his billion-dollar fortune. While you take that in, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be covering how Jordan spends his billion-dollar fortune, touching on the ludicrous, extremely expensive, and some just plain weird things he spends loads of money on. They get more and more ludicrous as the list goes on, and you won't believe the last one we have in store for you. So let's get to the important stuff. What is Jordan blowing his riches on? Compassionate spending. Before you get all riled up and set your phasers to hate, let's start with the donations Michael Jordan makes. Because yes, he makes a lot of money, and he spends a lot of money for himself, as he should be fully allowed without criticism. But of course, what world would we live in if there weren't those with criticism? The haters. And just so people don't think Jordan is greedy with his billion-dollar fortune, know this first. He donated $2 million worth of the earnings from The Last Dance to food banks in the Chicago area and in the Carolinas. In 2018, after Hurricane Florence hit, he donated $2 million to relief efforts. And in 2019, $7 million of his dollars went to opening 2 medical clinics in Charlotte. And that's just scratching the surface of some donations he's made. Jordan's donated more money than some of your favorite athletes have even earned. If donating was a competition, Jordan would win that too. So, now that you understand Jordan is a philanthropist, let's talk how he drops dollars on himself. Jordan's garage. Jordan's collection of cars could be described as impressive, or perhaps more accurately, as unfair. He owns a Mercedes-Benz CL65, which has a 6-liter V12 engine with 2 turbochargers. That's enough to push out 604 horsepower. So yeah, you could say that one's got some power. There's the Cadillac XLR, which only had 15,000 models produced in its 6-year stint. So it may not technically be a one-of-one car, but it's at least a one of some. But how about his one-of-one Aston Martin DB7 Volante, which was custom-made for Jordan in Rannoch Red. We're not entirely certain what Rannoch, I don't even know how to pronounce it, means, but in looking up translations online, it seems in ancient Latin, it loosely translates to Chicago Bulls. So that makes sense. And then, of course, when the DB9 Volante came out and replaced the DB7, well, Jordan had to get that. Rule of cars when you are a billionaire, no matter what car you have, if there's a 7 in the name and then you find out there's a version with a 9 in the name, then you need to purchase the 9 even if you don't want it. You're a billionaire. You need to have the highest numbers available in all your cars. Yes, it's a chore that you need to check in on yearly, but alas, there lay the responsibilities of being a billionaire. Which brings us to the next car, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren 722 edition. Yes, a special edition car. Another rule for you billionaires out there, at least one of your cars has to be a special edition. You cannot only have regular editions. That's not what being a billionaire is all about. How about Jordan's Range Rover HSE? Yes, there is also an SE. But why get the HSE? More letters? More important. When asking the question, what's the difference between the SE and the HSE, we can semi-quote the great Jay-Z. About 30 to 40 grand, chump. By the way, did we mention a Porsche 911 yet? Yeah, he's got one of those too. Who knows what else he's hiding in his multiple garages? Unfairly, these may just be the highlights. Grab a bite. Yes, Jordan also owns several restaurants. Perhaps to make him money on the side, or perhaps because he wants to be able to get the food he wants, when he wants it, and where he wants it. What may not be as heavily reported with Jordan, not only is he a billionaire, he may actually be on the eccentric side. There is a Michael Jordan steakhouse, Sure, you could come up with some catchy name that will attract people to your location, or you could just stick your name in it and then put stakeouts at the end so people are completely aware of where they're going. There are locations in Connecticut, Washington, and of course, Chicago. Also in Chicago, there is a Michael Jordan's restaurant. Alright, getting even more basic with the name. But who are we to question his methods? His name is recognizable. It sells. Or is it that eccentric side of him that wants his name to appear everywhere? Then we have 1000 North, which resides on another planet, Jupiter, Florida. Yeah, exactly what you're thinking. Florida is its own little planet down there. So different from the rest of the country in many ways. Not only is Jordan intentionally known, he's also intergalactically known. However, that's probably been true since Space Jam. Spend money to make money. Yes, like any good billionaire knows, do some spending of your money and let it make you back some money. Michael Jordan is no foreigner to this concept. He owns the Charlotte Hornets most famously, a big-time purchase that results in big-time earnings. He is also a minority owner in the Miami Marlins. Smart, he makes money during the basketball season and the baseball season, which generally span an entire calendar year together. He also invested in Gigster, which is a Silicon Valley startup that connects companies to freelance software developers, designers, and more. And maybe one of his most eccentric, billionaire-ish purchases ever, the Nissan dealership he bought and now owns in Durham, North Carolina. Now, at first, that doesn't sound too strange to many. Owning a dealership is a sound investment. But remember, this is Michael Jordan. Of all the things for him to own, a dealership, and not a fancy, high-class dealership with exotic sports cars in a big market city with celebrities and big spenders. No, a Nissan dealership in Durham, North Carolina. Nothing against Nissan or Durham, North Carolina, but does a dealership in the 4th biggest city in the 9th most populated state from a company that has nice selections but also has affordable hatchbacks for low-income families sound like a Michael Jordan joint? Maybe this is some weird Larry David-esque fantasy of seeing if he'd be any good at selling cars. Then again, if you went to a Nissan dealership and Jordan was there selling cars, wouldn't you buy one from him? Home sweet homes. Like the old saying goes, there's no place like home. Except maybe your other home. Or your other home. Or your... forget it. Unsurprisingly, Jordan has a fantastic house in which he resides. Perhaps surprisingly is that the fantastic house in which he chooses to reside could be in a number of different locations. There's the house on the lakefront in Cornelius, North Carolina. Probably good to have a house near that Nissan dealership of his. This house has 6 bedrooms, is on a golf course, and cost him around $2.8 million when he purchased it. Then there's the North Carolina home, Charlotte to be exact. Have you heard of the luxurious trust condos in that area? Well, if you're looking to purchase, the entire 7th floor is already owned by Mr. Jordan. So maybe take a peek at floors 1 through 6. In Jupiter, Florida, another house on another golf course. Because he can never have too many homes on golf courses, this one cost him around $5 million on the initial purchase, and he spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million renovating it. Then there is the Chicago home, the one Jordan has actually been trying to sell since 2012. It's about $15 million, 9 bedrooms, 19 bathrooms, hitting that perfect ratio of 2.1 bathrooms per bedroom. Why would he want to sell it? It's fully customized for Jordan himself with a big number 23 on the front gate, tennis court, basketball court, cigar room, and putting green. He even has a full-time staff taking care of the house, keeping it up and running, all while trying to sell it for almost a decade. Then there's another home in Park City, Utah, just $7.5 million. A measly 5 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. This home, he's also trying to sell. Hold on, is Jordan a former athlete or an up-and-coming realtor? Between this and the car dealership, Jordan's gonna need to get some new business cards. Airline Jordan. He wouldn't be Air Jordan if he didn't have his own private jet. But is it enough just for the jet to be private? Of course not. Jordan's private jet is painted Carolina blue in a nod to his Tar Heel. Not only is the jet customized in color and with Jordan's Jumpman logo on the tail, but he even has a customized ID number on the jet. The ID is N236MJ. The 23 being his former jersey number, the 6 being the number of championships he's won, and obviously MJ being his initials. The N, we're not sure. Maybe it's N for not afraid to even customize the ID on his private jet. When you've moved to customizing IDs on private jets, you have really upped your customization game. But I suppose it's important for Jordan to stress that he is number 23 and that he has won 6 championships, even to those passerby at 10,000 feet. His own green. One of Jordan's more baller moves in his post-NBA career comes from one of his more funny reactions. The move was to own his very own private golf course, called Grove XXIII. For those of you that know your Roman numerals or follow the Super Bowl naming guide, the XXIII stands for 23. Again, Jordan needing to stamp 23 on everything that he can. The reason Jordan opened the private golf course is not just because he wanted to have it. Reportedly, he was getting annoyed with the rate of play at his country club. Of course, what would you do if you were golfing behind too many slow senior citizens? You don't want your golf game taking up the whole day. You'd go and open up your own golf course too. Probably set an age limit on your club too. At his Hobe Sound, Florida course, Jordan even has a custom Carolina blue golf cart with the Jumpman logo. Of course, what else would you expect him to drive around in? A regular looking golf cart that doesn't match his private jet? Come on! If you're someone who has a customized private jet and you don't match your golf cart to it, then you are not billionairing right, and you need lessons. Maybe from Jordan himself. He probably teaches classes as a side business out of that Nissan dealership. Sorry, we still can't get over that Nissan dealership. And by water. It's not enough that Air Jordan dominated the air, and then after acquiring sweeping mansions and the most luxurious cars, he dominated the land. And it still wasn't enough. No, Jordan needed to also dominate the water. He does so chartering a yacht that, at 154 feet, apparently classifies it as a mega yacht. It's fitting with everything else Jordan does. Around $80 million, this yacht includes 8 cabins, full bar and dining room, jacuzzi, gym, and a full-sized basketball court. Obviously, this is completely impressive, but the shooting mechanics you have to adapt when playing basketball floating on the water. How does one shoot a 3-ball when the court is swaying back and forth? Probably just one more way for Jordan to get an advantage on his opponents. Call him eccentric, and it really seems like he is. Did you have any favorites among this list? Purchases that seem most eccentric? Like the video, comment, and let us know. And subscribe to the channel for more hoops videos. And who knows, maybe the occasional Durham, North Carolina Nissan sales extravaganza.